and they want to take that power away from us. I mean, it's pure and simple. This is a power play, pure and simple. And we've got to be prepared to react to this. And not only react in a defensive way, but to react and go on the offensive. Okay? I mean, we can play great defense, but if we don't have an offense, we aren't going to win too many games. So we've got to be going on the offense as far as reestablishing ourselves, reestablishing our relationships with our members. It's something else that we've got to do. We've got to engage in our political and legislative program in a stronger way. Now, I think all of you probably know this. I think I announced it maybe at the convention. But we saw that there was positive movement by UPW as far as engaging in what we call our people program. Okay, that's where we raise voluntary dollars to support our political and legislative activities. Now, hopefully everybody around this table is an MVP or better, okay? But because of your activity in Hawaii with your members, we wanted to give you some help, okay? So I think that we pledged and committed to giving you $50,000 to establish a strong people program. And we're serious about that, okay? We're serious about doing that in other parts of the country where our affiliates understand the importance of us engaging in political and legislative action. I mean, this really is a partnership. I know that Hawaii is a long ways away. Okay, I know it takes a long time to get here, or it takes a long time for us to get there. Okay, but you're still a very, very important part of this union. You are part of what I believe to be the strongest union in the American labor movement, representing 1.6 million members. Make no mistake about it. And we've got to become stronger. And we can't rest on our laurels. We just can't, kind of sit back and say, "Oh, we've done a great job and now we can relax." Can't do it. Doesn't happen that way. It's not happening that way in DC, and I don't want it to happen in any affiliate where we represent members across this country. I want all of us to be bold and determined to move a progressive agenda, and I'm going to push as your president. I'm going to push all of you. I'm going to push all of our affiliates to do that. That's what these leadership meetings are about, pushing and convincing folks that this is the right thing to do. And I think, and Dayton can speak to it, but when we left that meeting, that leadership meeting, everybody was on the same page. Everybody understands that we've still got work to do. We'll always have work to do. Okay, that will never end. Because that's who we are. I mean, sometimes, I like to say this, we're troublemakers sometimes, right? For the good reasons. Because we're troublemakers because we want people to have a shot. Those folks who are playing by the rules every single day, trying to put food on the table, send their kids to school, we want them to have a shot, to have a voice so they can succeed. And that's what we're going to continue to push all the time. You push it in Hawaii, your national union's pushing it, and your sister affiliates across this country are pushing it. That's what AFSCME is all about. Now, we've got some important challenges coming up. All of you know that the president right now, and I was there a couple of weeks ago, has nominated a Supreme Court candidate. We believe that it was a great choice. But we also know that the Republicans on Capitol Hill are not only trying not to have a hearing, but some of them are saying they won't even sit down and talk with the nominee. And so we're developing a campaign with our friends, other unions and allied organizations, and working with the White House, where we're saying simply this: the president has a responsibility, okay? He's done his job as far as nominating someone. Now it's up to the Senate to do their job. Simple as that. Now, I know you're going on the Hill. You're going to be talking to folks who get it, who understand. But if you see some of these Republicans walking around, don't be afraid to get in their face and say, "Do your job. Do your job." I mean, What do they want? The president to, because this is last year in office, to go hide in the closet and not do anything? That's BS. That's BS. They're saying that, well, he really doesn't have the support to move this. He's got to wait until the next election. Well, if my memory serves me correctly, he did win in 2012 for a second term. That gives him a voice until his term is over. We've got to stress that. But that just makes it so important for us to understand what we must do in 2016 as far as the national elections, and also in many areas that we have state elections, state legislative elections, Senate, United States Senate elections. I mean, this, and you've heard me say this before, is the most important election in our lifetime. But I will say that the next election, because every election is the most important election of our lifetime, okay? But just think what we might be able to do if we push as hard as we possibly can. Your union endorsed Hillary Clinton after a very long and exhaustive process. Did it make some people angry? Yes, it did. But what I say to those folks who may be supporting Bernie or somebody else is this. We did go through an exhaustive process. We polled members. We had conferences where we polled members. And by 62, 63% margin, our members wanted us to support Hillary Clinton. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now, voting is a very personal choice. I get that. I understand that. And we aren't telling anybody how to vote. But what we're trying to do is to educate our folks on why we believe that Hillary Clinton is the best choice. Okay? Now let me just say this, and I hope I don't cause any confusion in the room or disrespect the process, but I hate caucuses. I mean, I really do hate caucuses. I think that there's some of the most undemocratic things that you can do as far as electing candidates. And we've had a number of caucuses. In Hawaii, we have caucuses, right? And I think that if you look at it, and if you look at the success of the Clinton campaign, if you look at the primaries, and if you look at the number of folks that have voted for her, and if you look at the number of delegates, okay, she's going to win. She'll win the Democratic primary, make no mistake about it. But we cannot let up. I was with the 42nd President of the United States last week in New York City, Bill Clinton. And let me say this to all of you. Whenever I'm with either Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton or their folks who are supporting them, the first thing they will say to me when they come up is saying, AFSCME is doing an amazing job. We see green all over the place. Those green t-shirts all over. And as a matter of fact, I would say this, if it wasn't for our union, no disrespect to others, then some of those primaries that we won could have been flipped because of our activism, because we're getting not only our members out, but the labor vote out. But just think of the importance of this election, okay? And the importance of having the strongest candidate you can possibly have against whoever the Republican might be. Donald Trump?
Oh, God.
Come on. I mean, you know, this, I don't even want to go there. Cruz? I mean, those are going to be the two choices. Not unless they have some kind of brokered convention where they want to shove somebody else down their throats. And I think they'd have real problems doing that, okay? But just look at those two candidates, what Trump says. I mean, whether it's on labor rates, he supports national rates of work. He doesn't believe that folks should have a minimum wage, okay? He doesn't believe that wages should grow in this country. He has said this publicly. His attack on women, his attack on people of color. But Cruz is no better. And then think about the Supreme Court. Can you imagine if one of those two became president? What do you think that Supreme Court would look like? Because we've got a vacancy now. There's a real good chance and possibility that we're going to have 2 or 3 more vacancies the next 4 years. What do you think that Supreme Court would look like? And people want to question the importance of this election. What do you think the impact on working families will be when you have folks that are saying, we don't need unions. We don't need a minimum wage. We don't need wage increases. We need right to work. We don't need immigration reform. That impacts on our communities and our members. We don't need public education. Come on. I mean, I am prepared to argue with anyone who believes that this election is not important, and you should too. You should argue about it too. And you should be forceful about it because your livelihoods depend on it. And your union is depending on you. Okay? So these are just some of the challenges that we're faced with. But I'm the kind of guy, and I'm sure that all of you are too, I look at the glass as being half full and not half empty. I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get a little tired, but I wake up and I'm charged up every day because I'm willing to take folks on. Your union is willing to take folks on. The only way we're able to do that is through the activism and through the commitment and through the dedication of people like you sitting around this table. Because I know I've got an army behind me. And that army is AFSCME, standing behind me, ready to go into battle to do the right thing. I know that UPW is always ready to go into battle, always. And your sister affiliates across this country are ready to go into battle. And this national union will not back up or sit down for anyone. We will always be prepared to go into battle because that's who we are. That's who we were on April 4th of 1968. That's who we were before then when this union was formed. We have always been ready to engage in battle, to make our voices heard, to move in a progressive agenda. And I would just urge all of you sitting around this table to think about that, okay? Think about your history. Not only your history in Hawaii, but think about your union's history across this country and what we mean to support working families, what we mean in the fabric of giving everybody a chance to succeed. So that's what this fight, in my mind, is all about. And that's why we need all of you, every single one of you. And that's why we need all of you to be our spokespersons, to talk about the things that I'm talking about, to talk about the importance of having a strong union, a stronger union, to talk about the need to stand up and make all of our voices heard. So, sisters and brothers, with that, let's accept the challenge, okay? All of us, we need to accept the challenge. You're going to be learning a lot the next couple of days. You're going to be hearing from our different departments, talking about the programs that we're putting in place. You're going to hear about where we want to move and how we want to move, okay? Engage in these discussions. Just don't be spectators. Engage in these discussions. I mean, this is your house. Some of you have heard me say this before. I mean, this is really your house, okay? This is your home. This is your national union. I don't own it. Our members own it, okay? And we've got to be the best that we can be, right?
Right.
We're going to be the best that we can be?
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great time in D.C.